let's try this again. Good evening. Welcome to the Deltahead stream. I am James Howell, and tonight we're back after some hiatus because of some construction that was going on in this room. This room and this house were not designed for the excesses of climate change. Heat it can handle, excess water it cannot, and that includes snowfall. Yeah, Swimmy, I think is probably the familiar barrage of problems that are associated with a wireless connection in here. And now that I'm getting this room put back together, one of my goals is to use this time of transition to get a wired connection running from up there down into here. And I've got some family coming into town pretty soon for the holiday, and that is perfect resource to leverage to get that done with maybe a little more expertise. And I mean, I don't have to do it. That's great. But that's you know, parents like to say that all the chores that you do is sort of some sort of repayment for giving you life, etc., raising you. And I choose to believe that it's forward payment on them helping you with their own home later. So don't tell my dad I said that. But yeah, so if we have kind of stream hiccups, that's probably why. But yeah, the room is put back together mostly, certainly enough to exist in and do things in, and that is a huge relief. And now that I'm back in here, the cats also are super excited to be able to poke at the doorknob and demand to be let in. Let's see, frames dropped, you say? My God, 39% over the last 2 minutes. Well, we'll see how this goes. But anyway, so tonight we're going to keep on with Fatal Frame. Evening Taco Task Force. No, last night was a personal day, and so I decided to kind of bump the stream to tonight as the return of the Deltahead stream. Yeah, we're keeping on with Fatal Frame 4. I do not remember where we last were, because it's been 3 weeks since I played the game. I think it is wonderful as an example of lurching back from the dead, that this stream, playing a scary game, should go underground for almost the entirety of Scary Month, and then literally the week after return to bring its ghouls and ghosts back onto the screen. So, but yeah, with that all that said, pregame show. Honestly, my God, it's been 3 weeks, so I can't think of what out of any of that to focus on. There was a ghost, they were being a problem. I mean, that's sort of ghosts in general, although I don't know if ghosts would think that they're being a problem. I think that they're just doing their work. Yeah, Swimmy, you had some great Spooky Month streams. Swimmy, for those who don't know, streamed one game that he had not played for every night during the month of Spooktober, and it was wonderful. It was great to see him introduced to some old favorites of mine, and also to encounter some new ones. Iruru, I think, is one that you played through entirely. Yeah, streaming every night is a strain, especially if you're a parent. And congratulations to you for doing that. I'm really happy that you did. It was always kind of that nice heartening thing when somebody is streaming and you can just kind of tune in and kind of know they're there. So that was wonderful. I really enjoyed that. Thank you. Oh my God, Silent Hill Downpour. So I actually don't think as badly of that game as its reputation suggests. I played it entirely on this stream, actually. No, not entirely on this stream. I played it to completion on this stream, from beginning to end through the story. There's a lot of side content that I think is really where the meat of that game lives in terms of quality, and I only got through a very small portion of that. So that would be actually worth going back and revisiting, because I think there was quite a lot of good to that. Yeah, so we're just gonna jump right in. Let me get the iPad up so I can see what you fine folks are typing as we return to this sanatorium. Sanitarium? Sanatorium. Mental hospital. Yeah, puzzles were a little rough. Combat's rough, but honestly, the side missions and sanitarium. Thank you. Had my Porky Pig moment there where I'm not quite making it through on the pronunciation, so I settle for a synonym. Yeah, the side quests are fun and they're clever and genuinely scary. Nice little nuggets of scare game. Oh, really? Does I mean I have opinions of suicide as a dramatic element, especially if it is meant to resolve lingering plot strands in general. So I did not know that was part of Fatal Frame 5, but yeah, it's kind of an easy resolution to a lot of plot things that an author could bring up but choose not to. Oftentimes it's very sort of hard to feel like it was an earned ending. Let's see. Okay, there we go. That's the audio for the game. And 1 second, let me click over. Oh, it's that kind of haunting. It's a massively cursed place that compels you to perform the curse yourself. That's a little different. Let me get this headphones recalibrated here. And a little more volume. I'm surprised, knock on wood, that the streaming setup has reassembled with relatively few hiccups. Fingers crossed that continues. Oh man. Okay. So here we are, the Masked Pair, Chapter 5, Misaki. Alright, cool, we're using the, oh, I just love the Wii remote controls, just... such a cool device. Alright, now I don't remember what I'm doing. Let's see, can I find a reminder? I probably am at the start of Misaki's chapter here, since that's typically how these things go, or have gone. Records. Summary. A distorted face in the mirror and music. What kind of treatment was done here? Why do the spirits of patience continue to linger here even now? These are all pertinent questions. Doubts well up within. Ruka, as she approaches the familiar room. That's the same sentence. So, despite the way that I just read that, a crease in the paper is not, in fact, a call to breath pause in the middle of a sentence. This is the sick room in which she was once hospitalized. Cool. So that was Ruka's. That's a very scant summary. Oh, that's an interesting time. Use of time in the plot. Certainly different from the rest of these, because outside of Fatal Frame 3, Oh, cool. I hear voices. They seem to be stronger over there. Right, this is a super cursed room, isn't it? That's the dining room. Storeroom. What do my keys look like here? Okay, we've got a black mask fragment. That's really plot related. Rusted key. Interesting. For a video game, I actually like that kind of pacing a little bit more, especially if it's a game meant to be done in sessions, which I feel like games now can increasingly expect their audiences to expect. I think that might be generally how people consume media now, more than binging as much. Although, no, I'm actually probably wrong on that, because kind of the way that Netflix and other and those other services are set up is to emulate the infinite scroll of social media, where something just restarts every time, so you're kind of encouraged to consume constantly. I think I assumed that I was going to be given some sort of prompt to for what's next, but no. Had it? Let's see. Well, what the heck was that? I think that's fair. Alright, that's not... Their records, media... Maybe it's in Ghost List? Oh. Under the glare of the blazing sun, this was the scene of the disaster. A woman rose from the stairwell, and one by one the patients began to bloom. Horrifying. Evening, Dream Bombs. Good to see you. How are you? Is that the reflection of the moon in the pool? Can I see the moon from up here? would be extremely uncomfortable having a flashlight out here with all those windows possibly looking at me in this space. How are you, Dreambomb? Yeah, Dustin, we had a similar experience. Unfortunately, we had a sickness that prevented us from going trick-or-treating, so we handed out candy instead. It was kind of a last-minute affair, getting everything all set up. But we overestimated the number of trick-or-treaters who actually would come by. Fortunately, though, we did get a little more than 3. But we have quite a bit of candy that certainly doesn't match my my dietary goals right now, either in terms of calories or the kinds of calories consumed. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with that. Ah, this freaking face, man. You see something under there? I'm gonna turn the audio down on this because, frankly, I'm not in the mood for the quality of this audio, of this atmospheric audio. Tactics Ogre Reborn. Tactics Ogre is a game that I have not, I never dove into. I know it and Final Fantasy Tactics are not exactly fighting, but between the two, that's the one where I spent the most of my time. Reese's are good. I will eat myself too many Reese's. Gotcha. That's a better one. I'm just getting uncomfortably closer. Yeah, Swimmy, that is a genius move right there. We were very generous with our candy when we realized how few kids probably were coming through. Although some of the costumes that the kids had were impressive. There was, oh man. So we now do the adult / parent thing of like, oh, you have such a great costume. What are you dressed up as? This sort of thing. And sometimes it is genuinely, you know, sometimes it's showing interest in what a kid's done for the holiday. And other times it is like, I genuinely am out of touch and I have no idea what you're dressed as. And there were a couple of kids who had really, really solid, just like very detailed anime or video game character costumes, you know, with like a Buster sword and hair styled and colored and a costume with a big popping collar and this sort of thing. And asked one of them that was dressed like this, said like, oh, what are you dressed up from? The answer was, I'm a character from a show, and then just turned and left. And I'm like, either you're really tired of answering that question by now, or you don't trust us to know, so why put in the effort? Yeah, I respect it. Oh, you guys did trick or treat on Saturday. No, we our kids in our neighborhood came through on Monday. And I was pleased. The parents here followed at a respectful distance for the younger kids. By respectful, I mean let the kids have their own experience, which is very different from when I lived in Tennessee. and I would see kids trick-or-treating going down the street in what I know to be a safe neighborhood. What? I get to watch these ghosts leave, but I can't. In Tennessee, there would be this like giant black pickup truck following them at a distance of like 15 feet or something, just insanely much closer than sort of discreetly letting kids have their own experience would suggest. Like you totally know they're armed. And the kids seemed oblivious. They were just sort of chattering and walking along and having a great time. Nonetheless, it felt very weird seeing that level of protection following them. And, I mean, arguably, Seattle is, I mean, I don't want to say maybe more dangerous, but certainly riskier than semi-rural Tennessee. Especially a suburb in semi-rural Tennessee. Evening, Dan. It's good to see you. The Buster Sword was impressive. It was. Oh, this is the thing. And this is my out of touchness, right? So it was Buster Sword-like, but it was not a Berserk / Cloud actual Buster Sword. It was a very large sword that had a sort of scimitar curve, and a hole punched in the end of it. So so that was kind of the style of it. Evening, Bismuth. It's good to see you again. And yeah, that makes sense. I mean, with online tutorials having become what they are, at least middling to amateur skills can be learned from that on the spot. Maybe they wouldn't tell me. I don't know who Zabuza is. Oh man, Dan, I think you got all the trick-or-treaters in the chat. Thank you, Dan. I'm glad that you are considering it thus, because I was very sad to have missed Scary Game Month due to the circumstances. Oh, that's awesome, Bismuth. Yeah. Knew it. So, I'm getting these items, but I'm not seeing anything that's kind of moving the plot forward. I wonder if I'm just exploring, I say with disgust in my voice. I guess there's nothing in here. Having played through the Resident Evil 8 DLC, I am missing... right now I'm very much missing the mechanic whereby an area that you have not fully explored is differently colored. That's really funny. That's it, and that's really interesting. I haven't thought of Link as a Peter Pan-like, but the sort of like endless youth that his character enjoys for being a constant reincarnation of his Triforce archetype certainly makes him much like that, doesn't it? I like Shadows of Rose too. I enjoyed... I have some quarrels with the final encounter, but overall I thought it was well done. I thought it was a really good revisit of a lot of the environments, and a well put together one. Felt very Evil Within-y. Light reflects off the water's surface, but the water's completely black, so I can't see into it. That's a great image. But yeah, overall I found it very satisfying. You're right, Link does have to fight his shadow. I'm really curious to know what you think of it, Swimmy. Oh, cool, this door's partly open. That always... Oh, this is probably a really bad idea. Because I remember when I did that one time in Fatal Frame 2, and it scared the bejesus out of me. You can play it only in third person, as a matter of fact. They completely disabled first-person mode for the Shadows of Rose DLC. Yeah, Bismuth, I think this is the one where I think they sort of like advanced the character designs away from the sort of like PS2 era, sort of like blockier costumes to more elaborate clothing, which I think they continue to play out in Fatal Frame 5. But yeah, that's a shift in the character designs in this one, I think. Well, now I've just run in a circle. Yeah, the camera's very stable in the third person. I was actually thinking of you while I was playing through that, and mentally grading it on how well it would play with your equilibrium. And I think obviously you're the best best gauge of that, but I think you'll have a good time with it. All right. I'm curious, Taco Task Force. What were the design problems that pushed you away from that you did not like about 7? I guess I might have to just go into this damn room. Yep. Oh, cool. All right. See, this game does shadows really well, so everything that is outside of the range of my flashlight is super dark. I don't like this at all. Oh, I see. So the sort of more clock towery style of game is not your it's not your jam. Yeah, RE7 I think is a little different there, and oh, you know, I never noticed that the flashlight broadens a little bit as you run. What an interesting thing. Here we go. The resolution shift from gameplay to movie is a little starker, a little more visible here than I'm even used to it being on PS2. Cool. Great. Ah, Jesus Christ! Oh my god, you and your Heaven Smile gameplay can go to hell. Oh god. That was brutal. I could just hear that as I get grabbed. Yeah, Swimmy's right on RE8 having something like that, but it's not Jack Baker level of Stalker. There's the Marguerite section, which is a little more, can be a little more frustrating because I don't think that you can repel her. But Jack, yeah, they give you enough tools to be able to shut him down at least once on a regular playthrough, and I feel like that makes it a little different from Clock Tower. All the same, he is that kind of enemy, so if that's not your thing, then that's that. Okay, equip. Alright, where you at? Do you want me to run and then you'll pop up? Oh yeah, I actually totally don't feel like... Oh, I've only got one of the heavier film left. Jesus, the voice is really creepy. There we are. Yeah. Ah! Go, 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 go! All right. Whew. I don't think her stalking section is that protracted if you if you kind of know where to go, and there really aren't that many routes to get lost amid. But if you are sort of poking around and not sure where to go, she can have a stalking sequence that lasts a bit. I wonder if you met that child. As a child, that special person you always spoke of. Even though I felt that I may only have been a replacement, a toy for that person, I was happy when I was in your house instead of her. I was scared that you would remember her. I was always scared, but if you would only ever see me, if you would forget, then I would be happy. I'll return to my room now. You will also return to your room and return to that child. It's okay to remember now. It's okay. It's okay. If we die together? Cool. That's a good thing to plug at the end of that ellipsis. Well, Marguerite was also like, if she catches you, you're basically dead. I mean, you can run, but Jack is made to make you feel like you're struggling and limping away, and Marguerite is more of a I gotcha, I'm gonna keep you kind of stalker enemy. So yeah, let's change film back. I gotta say, I miss Joe Baker. I wish we had more Joe Baker in our lives. I don't know if the End of Zoe DLC was. I don't know how well it sold, and how much how motivated they are based on that to bring the character back. But just you know, Bayou Man punching and pro wrestling his way through a bunch of biohazard stuff that Ethan City Slicker with some light arms training has just has been limping through for the whole game. It's a good palate cleanser, and you know, I like throwing a goofy pro wrestler into a grim dark scenario. No, I don't know if RE7 is grimdark. It's pretty aware of its camp. Is there something else that I should do here? Let's see. Is this the same thing that I just watched? Yeah, I think it is. I really liked Jack as a character. Thank you. I'm glad to see that somebody else appreciates its magic. I kind of wonder if End of Zoe, the name is kind of a language pun, because End of Zoe is EOZ, and EOZ is Zoe backwards. And and you know, the letter E is the end of the word Zoe, so when you break it down into the an acronym, it starts with the end of Zoe, and I think that that's very clever. So that title, it does a lot of good work for me. What are these pictures? He has seen strange things, but no one recognizes his drawings. So he stands alone, muttering indignant complaints to the walls. Yeah, Joe has developed some some pretty hefty passive immunity to a lot of crap living out there in the swamp. Patients standing in the entrance hall without knowing why they stand here motionless unless they're being called. Yeah, if you like the chainsaw fight, if sort of like the goofy vibe of that dropped in the middle of sort of like real thick survival horror tension, if you like that kind of contrast, End of Zoe is going to satisfy that. You're going to appreciate that. Door is sealed by a strong force. Did I just trigger something that is now going to jump out at me by examining that door? What's my map look like? Okay, so I can't get back in there. Gotta go back through here. Elevator's closed. Actually, you know, now that the stream is... oh, wow, cool. You can see the filter up close there. Now that the stream is a little more sort of technologically and technically assembled, it would be neat to throw on the PSVR helmet and go through End of Zoe in VR again. That's a ton of fun. I had a stream of that a while back. Actually, in fact, very early on when I started the Deltahead stream. No! Yes! I was quicker to the draw than the reticle, and I want credit for that. The only downside to that is that with the helmet on, I'm not able to see chat. So I know when I did Duracine, which would be a great game to stream again. Let's power up the camera. Space Hamlet was a co-pilot there, and sort of interacted with chat and passed it along to me through the headset. So that might be a way to do that. Knockback effect. This seems more valuable. Yeah. Alright, so the sort of ruby one is is slow. That's good. Heal up. And let's go to the lamp shop. I wonder what triggers or what unlocks that that film. I feel like if you intentionally stand on a spot where you saw a ghost standing just before, it seems like it's asking for something bad to happen. Ah! Oh, hey. That's interesting that there's a save this close. And I'm gonna guess that because it's placed here, it's meant to be used. Oh, I have a question for anybody who also has glasses. So I recently got new lenses. They are the ones in the frames that I'm wearing right now. And there was this coating, coating, that I was offered, which I took them up on. This was not either available the last time I got glasses, or I passed on it. But apparently it filters out some kinds of some kinds of blue, I guess, that that makes looking at a screen easier. And I'm curious. Does this give you a headache? and kind of like what you're feeling on it, because I've had a slight headache since having these glasses on, and I don't know if that's my eyes adjusting to a prescription that now matches their needs, or if it's this this new feature. Hold on a second, I've got to stop a cat from rattling a doorknob off. Which I hope you can hear. Let's see. You hang out there. Hey, Scoop. There we go. It's interesting that that Misaki got a glimpse of the woman pushing the wheelchair, and I'm pretty sure I fought her with a different character, Ruka, I think. Well, good. She's particularly determined. She's an extremely sweet cat. Just a little, when you don't want her around, a little on the needy side, and when the only thing that stops her from being welcome is that she likes to poke technology and poke things that you really don't want her to poke. So she is a cat that is well suited for like a bedroom or a living room on a couch or whatever, but in an office or a library just can be a little challenging. So I got... It's cute. Okay, I'm wondering, is the big sister an hallucination or a figment? I don't remember her story that well. 1 second. Cool. Yep, cats patrolling and making sure that you're where you ought to be. That's an interesting herding instinct. There we go. Pretty sure I've mentioned this on stream a few times before, but the Skylight, the cat in question here, I think that before I got her, I think I got her when she was about a year old. I got her through the SPCA, and I'm pretty sure that she was, I don't know, I think when she was younger, prior to sort of being brought into the organization, she must have been stuck in a room or something. Maybe a bathroom or some room where she felt like she couldn't get to her mom or something. Because whenever she is in a space that she feels she is on the wrong side of the door for her people, then she will get really upset and start digging and try to destroy stuff, which is just heartbreaking to see. So I feel very bad if she gets really agitated in that state. Red wheelchair. I think I know where that is. Probably gonna get attacked. Yep. Oh my god. Attacked with some plot. No, I missed him. Oh, hey. Goodbye, curse. I think the red wheelchair is in here. I think it is blocking off... Well, there was a wheelchair blocking the space off. You know, the frame rate drop whenever it loads an area, it's atmospheric, perhaps unintentionally. It also makes me think of frame rate drops on another Grasshopper Wii game that I really enjoy, which is No More Heroes. That also winds up having an atmospheric effect when the frame rate drops significantly when they have like a multiple decap, and it's like you've killed so many enemies at once so hard that it's breaking, that it breaks reality. There we go. Alright, Type 61 film. Only downside is the fact that I'm getting it means they probably expect me to use it really soon. Alright, so reload, range, capacity. Power. I think that's a little more valuable here. Because I get a break in between each shot with an enemy. That's a very slow but steady wins the race kind of thing. Oh, cool. Oh, God. Ah! Okay. What? Well, that's somehow worse. Okay. I'm now officially on edge for this room. I agree. Oh boy. Well, that's one of the ghosts I fought. Don't recognize her. Well, I mean, the thing is, yeah, like, it shouldn't have changed in the first place. Alright, let's load up. It shouldn't have changed in the first place, and then when it changed back, I'm just like, it's just, it continues to interact with you, and I'm not happy with that. Alright. Nah! Of course you want me to look. I think this room might actually be worse than that little girl's room with the creepy grudge-like sound effects. Yeah, I keep really wanting this to be over. I'm not sure what you want from me here. Unless it's this? Something on the other side of these curtains I need to be aware of? What? No! No, sir, I don't like it. I was born dead. You were not. Even though we had the same blood flowing through us, you were alive. So you lived to die. If you could truly live while dying, the two of us could return to our small room. If it is possible to die without death, like two halves of a closed shell, like the amaryllis flower, without death, continuing to bloom for eternity. You are me, now you became me. I'm here where I'll go on blooming. That's actually quite lovely, I think. I don't know why they're all empty, but I'm quite happy with that outcome. Yeah, this is still the sanitarium. I think the sanitarium is, I think it's like 80% of the game? Keep talking, please. I'm not sure if I have forever, but any words are good even if they hurt. How can I make you happy if you are lonely? I am dying while still alive. Please tell me that you will try to make friends. Anybody will do. Will you go and search for someone today? Like that girl who peeked into this room? Don't destroy her. Wow. Kageri's letters are really creepy. Alright. Well, I think that about does it for this back room. Please let me leave. Obviously. Ah! 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 No, lock on! Lock on! Lock on! Lock on! I don't know why I didn't expect it would come from there. Ah! Fucking... Ah! Here. Cool. Oh my god. I think, it feels very uncomfortable to let them get as close as you need to get for a 0-frame shot, but that's really the most effective way to use your ammo there. You can just forgive me. When I pushed you over, it was on purpose. I pushed you over the edge, but it will all be forgiven. Because of me, you went into the darkness. Well, yeah, ghosts gotta live on something. If it's not food and air, it's frame rates. I must accept that the darkness inside you will not leave. I understand that wherever I hide, you will continue to look for me. No matter wherever I escape to, you will never give up. So the only way is to pray that the light shines into your darkness. I think is... Is Kageri Sendo, one of the women who were one of the women who was in the wheelchair and at the moon gazing pool? I kind of think that's the case, but I don't remember for sure. Wait, Sendo. The moment they peeped through that opening, the supernatural door was unsealed. They are two people, like two halves of a shell, hold together. However, their beliefs were warped and they fell into an abyss of despair. Watashi. A life-size doll in a wheelchair. Kageri Sendu doted upon it, yep, and named it Watashi. It was made to look like the twin sister that it replaces. Interesting. So she made a doll after her twin sister and named it I. That's pretty interesting. So yes, that was that the doll that I just fought? It looks like the enemy I just fought, but the background there looks like it's the outdoor pool, which makes me think it isn't. Okay. Well, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure I just fought one of them. Yeah, it's at this point in a horror game where I find the games terrifying. I wind up being very good at them, or at least good enough for the difficulty I've selected. So I get pretty far without having any significant damage or having been really hurt in any way. Nonetheless, I feel like I'm struggling whenever I get farther along, which I guess is the atmosphere really succeeding there. You know, that's interesting. I think that so I was doing some reading on yokai a while back, and that appears to be one way that that a yokai can either be summoned, or I don't know if created is the right word, but basically it's sort of like a register of intensity. If you accumulate enough of something, or if enough of something has enough meaning or whatever, then it can basically get a spirit. And I wonder if this is sort of in that similar vein. Well, abandoned bed, doll, baby carriage. This all seems above board. Oh. There are a set of panels painted with patterned carp. A panel seems to be missing. Oh. Chart. Misaki Aso. Aso. Misaki Aso. Age 7, room 310. Kamisarizuki. Month the gods leave. It seems questionable whether the patient has budded or not. Her memory impairment is becoming considerably worse. Her self-recognition is becoming more vague, and when she sees herself in the mirror, she is terrified. As soon as the characteristic symptoms of advanced Luna Sedata become obvious, she'll be diagnosed with Luna Sedata syndrome. The disease is rapidly progressing and is becoming severe. In this patient's case, it is clear that the progression of her Luna Sedata is related to the psychic disposition of the patient in room 412, Hyogetsu. It is extremely difficult to cure female patients in whom the onset occurs before the ages of 10 to 12. It appears very likely that living conditions will have a strong impact on her psychologically, as do they to us all. Everyone should thoroughly observe her condition and record it in detail. Special notes: an experimental schedule of treatment for the patient in 412 has been decided. The treatment of the patient in 412 may potentially lead to a clue in curing this disease. Additional note: she has a strong attachment to Mia, who tends to stabilize her condition, so we request that they not be separated unreasonably. Oh. Oh man, those are some creepy faces. Is there a name for that kind of apparatus? Because that's the same sort of thing that they stick on Sebastian's head when he's when the green goo is... Oh wow, that creepy smile of recognition as she walks in the room is really creepy. But it's the same sort of thing they put on Sebastian's head in The Evil Within to level him up. Come on, lock on, man. Ah! Yeah! Oh, it's the doctor is... Let's see. Alright. Oh, no way. I feel robbed. Where are you at? Oh, wait, I'm using, like, the lowest film. Oh, I'm out of the other film, so it defaults me to regular. Crud. Okay. Well, cool. I have the slow crystal equipped. Taco Task Force, I think you're right. Yeah. What? Whew. Yep, I would feel the same way. Witch's Bridle. Interesting. Witch's Bridle. That, I've read that. I don't think I've ever had a visual on that device, though, Dan. Evening, Arcs. Good to see you. How are you? Whew. Let's keep exploring before I do the puzzle and trigger whatever transition is next. I really want to get back to the cop with the shotgun flashlight. A detective character in a Suda game is always a winner. A Branks. Is it Branks or Bronx? Like the borough in New York. Many of the inventions are based on the theory that special benefit to be handled that requires attention. Here, usefulness was concluded and the treatment written down. The Spirit Stone flashlight returns the memory of patients of Luna Sonata syndrome. Moonlight made. Collecting the moonlight. Lost memories are recalled by its light. Oh, so it simulates the whole reason they're looking at the moon, so they don't, like, lose themselves, I guess. The treatment force blooming, and its effect, the Spirit Stone radio using a crystal can, a special frequency called residual thoughts, namely hearing the requests of the dead confirmed. The requests of the dead confirmed is really interesting, because it suggests that there is a state of knowing the requests of the dead that is unconfirmed. So you just want to check and be sure. Oh, thank you, Ark. I appreciate it. And welcome back to reality. Yes, a horror game on a stream, I'm sure, is maybe is an interesting way to reacclimate. I hope you get your coffee soon. It is strongly thought, chagrin, and voiced resentment. Here, a person's mind and body eats away at caution required. Spirits are visible with the camera obscura and machine. The was handled with spiritual intuition, advantageous possession. The rest has rotten away and is impossible to read. Oh, I wonder if these are abandoned attempts to create the camera obscura and the Spirit Stone radio. Oh, that's where that took place. I thought it happened somewhere else. Oh, there's the doll. Let's see if I can... There's the doll head. Cool. If the pictures are connected, it will open. Oh, I see. Flat zinc cast key. There was a small key put away inside the box. This photo is of me. Photo of a faceless woman. Wonder what it is that makes, like, kids' games and kids' rhymes seem universally creepy. It shows up here, obviously, in the other Fatal Frame games, but it's also, like, at the start of Dead Space, where they're doing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Is it just this... I wonder if it's, like, just the subversion of the feeling of safety that you're supposed to have from a kid? Oh, hey, I like that really up-close moon sort of dominating the screen, sort of like really just overwhelming it. It's really cool. I thought it was going to be a sliding block puzzle at first. So we are both surprised on that. Chapter 4, Empty Vessel. Okay. So we're going back to Ruka. A distorted face in the mirror and music. What kind of treatment was done here? Why did the spirits of the patients continue to linger here even now? Doubts well up within Ruka as she approaches the familiar room. This is the sick room. in which she was once hospitalized. Tsukimori song. Oh yeah, you're right. It was part of Nightmare on Elm Street, wasn't it? Five handmaidens. Ah. Oh, this is the artist. So I'm gonna go pick up this thing on the ground and then go see what kind of horror awaits me in there. How can I power up this camera? Answer looks like not much. Okay. Yeah. That's good. It feels like it's something that shows up often enough in media, and that there would be some sort of cultural study on it. Huh. Well, I can tell you, when kids like a song, they like a song, and that's what they want to hear. There is a particular song that my son likes, and he requests it exclusively. I find it very charming, because I myself listen to the same music over and over again for months at a time, so it's either Arrested Development or me, or or a chip off the old block. Urgetsu Hall Gallery is written on it. Oh God, I remember this area now, and I remember having some very unpleasant experiences in the way the game intends me to be, in the way the game intends for me to be uncomfortable. Cool. Okay, cool. Mizuki key. A wooden token is attached to the key. It has a Eulalia pattern carved onto it. Okay, so that goes to Ruka's old room. Cool. Ghosts? Ghosts? Probably ghosts. Yep. Cool. Rock and roll. The mad artist is I missed him. No, I got him. Yeah, the mad artist trope is interesting. You can kind of get, it's kind of the mileage that you get out of that varies. In this case, it's a single set piece. In The Evil Within 2, it's, I mean, it's like a third of the game. countless people are painted around a red woman with a distorted face. I mean, walking on that seems like a bad idea given the circumstances. But here we are. Whew, cool. Hey, that's 20. That's a power up right there. 25. Yes, please. Yes, please. Very good. What is this? Boost the damage of a single shot by a small amount. Cool. That one is maxed out. Sadako adjacent. Like, don't even look at the painting of a mad artist. It's like a guarantee, like, curse right there. Ah! I seem to remember Rod Serling had a show, Night Gallery. I don't know if it was exactly about that. But I remember one of them that involved a ghost. But I remember one that involved tracking the movements of a ghost by its by a painting. That's very true. Now Sadako has made her cultural impression, hasn't she? Or Samara, as I think it is in the U.S. version. Is that right, Samara? Yeah, is that the one with the, See, I think I'm remembering there was, if I'm remembering the plot right, and I think I am, at least the version in my head is really terrifying. There's a young man who stands to inherit a great deal from his uncle. His uncle is infirm, and basically the world will kill him if he comes into contact with it. He is hiding out upstairs in his in the upstairs bedroom of a very old house. The nephew opens the window to let in fresh air, which of course kills the uncle, and has him unceremoniously buried in the family cemetery. There's a painting of the family cemetery, and as the first night after the uncle's death goes on, the painting increasingly shows the grave being unearthed, or the coffin being unearthed, then open, then footprints, and then the body leading to the door, and then in the final version of the painting, the risen corpse of his grandfather or his uncle is at the door, and he hears like a knocking on the door, and he basically has a heart attack and dies. And it turns out it's the butler who had been staging the entire thing because he knew that the young man had killed the uncle, and the butler in turn stood to inherit everything after the young man dies. And so there's that kind of clever gotcha. But then he has the young man unceremoniously buried in the family plot, and then the painting actually begins functioning that way. He actually sees the the young man sort of like being unearthed and then rising up from his coffin and coming to kill him, and that's sort of like, camera pan up kind of thing. for the end, and that terrified me. I kind of never want to go back to it because I cherish the version that I have in my head of that, and the impressions that I have in there. I cherish that so much. I kind of don't want to go back and see if the production values are worse than my imagination. Oh, good. I'm glad I remembered it. I think I might have rewatched it with my like mouth slightly open, like, because it was that impactful. Impatient and self-proclaimed Yuko Magaki. Self-proclaimed what? That's what I remember the takeaway from Night Gallery being, that it was not as strong, and I think also like the sort of science fantasy Ray Bradbury framing device of the Twilight Zone was flexible and abstract enough that you could sort of carry a whole bunch of different kinds of stories in it. The supernatural cursed gallery framing of Night Gallery, I feel like that sort of not weakens, but I feel like that sort of constricts the kinds of stories that you can tell, or at least the kinds of stories that sort of fit that format. Yeah, I mean, one of the strengths of the Twilight Zone is that the framing device was so versatile, and I think that it's kind of hard to follow that. I mean, Rod Serling was an excellent storyteller, so it's a shame that that Night Gallery didn't take off for him. He saw the insanity and paints a hideous picture of blooming on his drafting board. Magaki transcribing his vision of the destruction of a crowd. Is it a revelation from heaven or the crawling waves of madness? Oh, interesting. Okay. Have you ever read any of Serling's short stories? It's Serling's, in my mind, Serling's writing style kind of lives alongside that of like Damon Knight and similar weird fiction, science fiction writers of the of sort of like the 60s and 70s. It has a sort of very straightforward, not like a Hemingway level of economy, but a direct concreteness that really just gives you a tale. And the Twilight Zone episodes, I mean, the Twilight Zone is very much his aesthetic, and it comes through in his short stories. So I highly recommend it. They're lovely and very fun to read. It's a very brisk read too. You come away entertained. You feel like you've accomplished something because you've gone through a book pretty quickly. Shie Samasaki, the nurse in charge of Rugetsu Hall's 4th floor. Fairly new. After the Kagura, she was given a desk in the breaker room. Oh, that's that nurse. Fairly new. That's what an interesting thing to sort of thing to pin on that bio. Was that Madoka? Yeah. In fact, I should order more of those for myself. Yep, walk over the crazy ghosts painting. Magaki's work, note 1. The vision makes me pick up the brush. Black, silent, I was not there. No one, nothing. Moment by moment, my memory is painted black, filled with more and more black. However, only the vision stands out in the total blackness. In exchange for my memory being burned away, I have received this vision. The vision has changed, like looking through a kaleidoscope. That moment is fixed, the light drifting through my darkness. I was born, I was born, I was born, I was born. Damon Knight. Damon Knight was the author of a short story that I really enjoyed. Science fiction short story. Let's see. What time are we at here? Do I have that accessible? All right. I'm not gonna take too long to find this, but I'm gonna see if I can find this real fast. Give me one sec. Holy crap, I found it. So this is a wonderful collection. The Norton Book of Science Fiction. It is, as you might imagine, a textbook, but it's the contents here are great. Ursula Le Guin and Brian Atterbury were the editors, so clearly folks with a knowledge of aesthetic and historical moment. But the Damon Knight story in here that I really liked. Octavia Butler's got a story in here, Speech Sounds, which is great. James Blish's How Beautiful with Banners is exquisite. Sam Delaney, Paul Anderson, Silverberg, Sargent, Tiptree, Le Guin, Russ, Harlan Ellison, Strange Wine. Damon Knight, The Handler. The Handler, 45, page 45. Yeah. So this is the kind of prose. This is the kind of like straightforward like storytelling, very concrete action that that sort of carries that carries sort of a deeper impression when you get to the end of the story. When the big man came in, there was a movement in the room like bird dogs pointing. The piano player quit pounding, the two singing drunks shut up, and all the beautiful people with cocktails in their hands stopped talking and laughing. And like that sort of like vivid, crisp image there is what he does really well. So yeah, this book right here is very good, very great collection, and that story by Damon Knight is good. I'm curious, have you... Yes, economical, thank you, that is the word I'm looking for, ironically, huh? Because I myself am not. I am economical after some editing. Cool, I got out. Oh, this is her room. Not her, but Misaki's room. Okay, so I'm here before Misaki. totally encourages me to want to see it, to see what that's about. So yeah, the doll's head is still up here, so probably before Misaki got here. Have you ever read the Taco Task Force, the Doc Smith, Doc Smith's Skylark of Space Lensman books? Oh, hey, there's a little doll. I'll grab a photo of that one. Gotcha. No, when I turned in my first short stories for creative writing classes, one of the first comments that I got was like, "So, do you read a lot of Faulkner?" Because you know, qualifying an image with an image with an image and having that sort of layering is very much my jam. So one of the things actually I like about Old English, because Old English has the economy and concreteness of expression that that I think is very punchy and that holds the attention of a larger audience. But it also does a lot of renaming and reframing in its verse style. So that's it's got that aspect of Faulkner plus the sort of like crispness that holds people's attention. I think there was an anime. Oh wait, I have that on VHS. There was an anime of Lensman. Ah, cool. There's no breeze and they're moving. That's awesome. I am setting myself up for a jump scare by doing that. Anyway, yes, Lensman, the Doc, I want to say Doc Martin, but those are clothes, those are shoes. Doc Smith's prose... Doc Smith's prose is, it's of an era, for sure, in terms of style, but the stories are good. They're good adventure stories. So I got the chime that says that object, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, weird. Since coming to the hospital, I feel a lot better. I made friends with a girl my age, and the nurses are really nice to me. But sometimes I get sad. Why do I have to wear a mask? Why am I the same as my father? Two questions we all ask ourselves. When the doctor plays that music to me, I remember all the horrible things. I want to become better soon for my mother, so I want to remember, but I'm scared. About the house, about the mask, about father, father's back. Father turning around and... From here, the writing becomes illegible. I wonder if her... Father's back is in like... Oh, okay. Like... Father from a rear view perspective, not father is back as in father has returned. Ah. Cool, music box. Let's do it. Single gear was missing. Oh, so it's in the cradle next door. So, it's about time to call it for the night, so I'm going to run and save this game. There we go. Oh, cool. Let's listen to this. Interesting. By popping from first to third person, do you mean like this right here? Or another kind of instance? Let's see, where is my save point? Yeah, I can go out through here. Like, everything is really tidy in that area, with all the puzzles and solutions being in one place. So I wonder if this is meant to be a very kind of like a compact chapter for that. All right, 20. That's a haul right there. Don't mind if I do. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder how many games have, I don't play a whole lot of horror games. I just really enjoy the ones that I like. So I don't think I have enough of a sort of like genre survey to be able to say how many times like you pop from first to third person. It seems like there's probably a lot of that. But many of the games that I play are usually third-person adventures, so this sort of dynamic is unusual for the kinds of horror games that I play. They're either entirely one or the other. But that brings us to the end for the night. I am super glad that we were able to get the stream back on track after, gosh, 3 weeks of missed streams for the construction. So Taco Task Force, is great to see you, and of course Dustin, Dan, Ark, Swimmy, anybody who is still hanging around from the crew, and Bismuth. It's great to see y'all, and Dreambomb. I hope you have a great night and or morning, depending on where you are. And see you on Wednesday of next week. I think that the pace of this game is putting it on track to be the one that might actually have the most installments before we're done. So, thanks. Have a good night.